Okay, to conduct a search for a systematic review, we're going to start off at the Inside Southern web page and we're going to go to the library. This will bring us to the library page. Now, the first step we want to do is go to Academic Search Premier. This will take us to a database which searches for articles. But before we search for articles, we want to start choosing the databases that we use. Typically, different databases are associated with different disciplines, so we're going to select multiple so that we can do a search that looks at all of these different databases and brings us to the information that we need. So we're going to pick CINAHL, which is for nursing and public health and allied health disciplines, PsycInfo, articles, which look for articles in psychology, social work abstracts, of course. Then we are going to do social index. We're going to go over here and education search for complete, and ERIC, which look in education disciplines. We're going to pick sociological source ultimate, Medline, and Medline complete. All of these databases will be searched at once, so we're going to press OK. Now when we press OK, it's going to put the list of databases here, and you can click on this to make sure that they're all there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put in our search terms. Now I'm going to use terms for a project, so I'm going to look at adolescent identity. And what I'm interested in is actually identity development. So I will put these words in here. But before if I just push search right now, it will look for the word identity and it will look for the word development, but not necessarily the phrase. So we're going to put this in quotes and then do the search. By putting it in quotes, it looks for the phrase identity development. Now we'll get a bunch of articles in here, and some of them, as you can see, are not necessarily in English. We're not going to worry about that. What we're going to do is come up to the search bar and we're going to click out of there and get rid of those words. Now what we're going to put in next is systematic review, again in quotes, so it looks at as a phrase, and we're going to collect search. Now so this will go through all the databases and look at like the two phrases and the phrase and come up with the word. You see there's over 800,000. We're not going to worry about that. We're going to come back up to the search bar, click connect, erase, and we're going to go to search history. Now what this will do is pull up all the articles that we have searched before, and so what we want to do is we want a systematic review on identity development. So we're going to click both of those and select and. By doing this, it's going to look for articles that have the phrase systematic review and the phrase identity development on it. And when we do that, we come down, we see we have about 127. Generally, we want to stay within 100, so I'm just going to lower that a little bit because 100 is a little easy to go through. So I'm going to click on here for peer reviewed. These will select articles that have been reviewed by several people and say, you know what, we agree with this area. And that's what we want to do. It's not necessarily opinion based, but it's actually peer reviewed. So now we're down to 123. But I want to get that a little further. So I'm going to come down here. These are limiters or filters. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to click on English, which you can see is only going to get rid of one. But I'm interested in identity development with adolescents. So I'm going to come down here, and when it says age, I'm going to click here and I'm going to say adolescents. So now what it's going to do is click through the articles and pick the ones that are essentially identity development among adolescents. And you see we have one article here which sounds good, so I'm going to actually look at this. What I'm doing is just looking at the title to determine whether I'm going to go a little bit further. I'm not necessarily going into details of the article. This one, which girls, which boys, the intersection of depression. This might be, so I'll click on it. Now, since there's only 6, it's easy for me to go through. Family therapy with sexually minority youth. That might be something I'm interested in, so I'm going to click here. STEM, identity, science, technology, education, and math. That's not necessarily what I'm looking at. So what I do is I have the articles that I have here, and by clicking on this, it comes up with the folder icon, which over here, it puts it in the folder. So I'm going to click on the folder view, and here's where it's going to pull up only the ones that I have essentially looked at. And they're coming here. So now what I'm going to do is click on the titles, and I'm going to look through the titles for something that's more on in my area. And what I'm looking at is identity development. So here, studies on identity formation focus on various components of identities. So this is starting to get to what I want. Overview of the theories and empirical studies on 3 components of identity. This is what I want. So all I do is come over here and I click on this. It will then pull up the PDF of the document. And so then what I can do is click on here, because this is essentially what I want to start using in my research. And that is how you find a systematic review. It's very simple, very short, and you saw I could do it quickly.